This is McCook's Mr. Bill, so honored to have you here. We're talking about a gas war today. We're in the middle of a big old gas war. But it ain't the first one I've seen in my life. I guess the first one would have been over there in Juanita, Nebraska. We live about 10 miles north of town, north and east. And we'd go to town once a week, usually the weekends. Go down there, and we'd take our eggs down there and trade them for groceries. Worked out reasonably well. Mother'd do some sewing and house cleaning there for different people, make a few extra dollars. I'd mow some lawns and anything to help, put a few dollars for the family, because Dad didn't make much money doing and being a sharecropper. With that in mind, though, we went one weekend, and there was old Gene Justice. He ran a gas station there, a wonderful man, him and Ruth. And he was a great gunsmith too. Had a gas station there, just a ma and pa store, if you will. And a big old sign, and I remember it as a little kid, and it said 1909. And as we pulled up there, old Dad said, "Hey, we got a gas war going on." Because most of them were selling gasoline for 23.9, basically 24 cents. So he had it a nickel less, basically. And I'm here to tell you, he was trying to, run others out of business, or at least get some new business brought in by having that gas war. I guess the next big gas war I ran into was back in '73, the year my wife and I got married. Just before we got married, the old Arabs had their scientists, and the corporations had their scientists, convinced the entire world that we were going to be out of gas in 20 years. By 1993, there would be no gas, no oil left in the world. Be walking or riding a bike, unless we started conserving it. And they convinced the people the only way they could conserve it is to cut the usage. And they was going to cut the usage by doubling the price. That's right. From 39 cents a gallon at that time when we was married, just getting married there, it went almost overnight to 78 cents a gallon. And every penny it goes up, never forget, that's an extra $1 billion in gross sales worldwide. An extra billion for every penny it goes up. Well, government wasn't going to let it just stand that way either, because the government experts, they believed the same thing the Arabs did, and so they said, well, we're going to cut the speed limit down to 55 miles an hour. Now that was a nightmare. So when we got married on our honeymoon, we had to drive 55 miles an hour out there, 250 miles out to Colorado Springs, driving 55 on the interstate. You talk about a drag and slow time. That was terrible. Then we had to put up with it for 10 years, driving back and forth to the farm, doing ranch work. At 55 miles an hour, 40 miles over to the ranch. And the old cops were more than willing to arrest you for going over the speed limit for sure and for certain, so you had to obey the law. But we hated it, and the people that passed that law. Finally, someone got some courage up there in Wyoming, and they raised the speed limit. Well, the old federal government bullies, they said, we'll take your highway funds away from you, your federal funds. Old Wyoming told them where they could put their funds. They kept the speed limit up there high. Well, in no time, the rest of the states followed suit, and the federal bullies, they finally had to back down. They ought to fired every one of them. But with that in mind, today we got a new gas war going on. And it's a big one, because they've been overpricing gas for a lot of years. A lot of people had to suffer, had to do without, so that those Arabs over there could have yachts bigger than aircraft carriers. And so the oil company big shots, so they could live like kings. And the rest of us lived like paupers. But finally, enough oil is being drilled and found. China no longer has to import any oil. Russia's exporting oil. Mexico, numerous countries, including the United States, has finally kicked in gear producing oil. And so there's so much oil, the price is coming down, as it should have never went up. It should never have went up. Be that as it may. That's the oil wars, then and now. Will it stay? No. Will it go back up sometime? Perhaps, but not for some time to come. Because everybody has got oil in this country. Because oil didn't come from dinosaurs. It's made by the earth itself. And it will continue to make the oil. And we can't begin to use it all. Rate this film and you have a good day.